this Independence Day, it's important to recognize how America reinvents itself from generation to generation. The latest polling numbers have Congress at an 11% job approval rating, and I can't find any of those 11% anywhere. And so what we've done is we've brought with us 8 members of Congress, the great freshman class, to explain why you were supposed to bring about change, and yet the numbers are still pretty low, and you're going to have the opportunity to take them on. So grab your dials, because I want to see how, this is going to be the ultimate in accountability. Why is it that Congress still has an 11% job approval rating?
My big concern is this. I'm a military pilot, and I remember September 12th and how there were no Republicans or Democrats on September 12th of 2001. We were all Americans. And I think we can debate ideas, talk about our differences, but not see each other as the enemy. And that's where I've really been burdened personally in this job, is because I think we are disagreeing and we're seeing each other as the enemy. And if we get past that and say, you're not the enemy, you just disagree with me, then I think as Americans, we can unite and really get some things done.
You come from a state, Wisconsin, that is the most divided and polarized in America. It seems like whether it's Wisconsin or Washington, we've all pulled ourselves apart.
This is, I think, the problem that we have. I think most people expect on those outer silos of issues on the that you expect us all to fight. What's happening today, though, is there's all these issues that come down into the middle that we should all agree on, that are common sense American issues that we should move forward, that we fight on. And I think people sit home and go, what is the problem? Why aren't we moving the common sense ideas forward and reserve those outer siloed issues for the big fight?
Okay. Give me a word or phrase to describe Congress.
Pathetic.
Unsupported.
Polarized.
Deadlocked.
Ridiculous.
This group, hopeful.
This group is hopeful. What about Congress overall?
Pathetic.
Broken.
It's pathetic.
Okay, so pathetic is the #1 word that they use. What do you tell them?
We are divided as a country right now, and so we represent the people in our districts, but there's people from all over the country, and we have very differing views right now. But it's a very critical time that we do find those common ground where we can come together and move forward. And certainly, I know we were sent here on a mission as freshmen to pull our country back from the brink of financial collapse, and we're working hard, and we're part of the fighting freshman class, and the American people deserve it.
You know, I would add a word, and I would say frustrated. I think the American people are frustrated, and I can tell you as a brand new member of Congress, I'm extremely frustrated. There's so much that I would give my life for this country. I know we have Air Force pilots here, I'm a Marine myself, but when you are as polarized as we are, and I don't think we have enough leadership right now, that's one of the issues. But the country itself is divided, and bringing that back together is a long, arduous process that doesn't happen overnight. We've been polarized for a while, and we need to bring it back together.
So can you blame them for being polarized? Isn't America polarized?
I believe America is polarized, but I think America is polarized because our leadership is. And my first question comes up every time I hear someone like you say that is, are you willing to step off the plantation and do what's right rather than what you're told to do?
We have two sets of problems. One, the almost insurmountable condition of America today with deficits and debt and so on, coupled with the group that is supposed to fix it or to preside over it, has, like a couple of boxers, retreated to their corners. They are so divided, and I think that's why so much of the American public has a low opinion of Congress and loses hope in our ability to fix things.
Go ahead.
I don't think that America is as divided as people think. I think we're very unified by tremendous financial problems. A lot of us are affected by the housing bubble. A lot of us are affected by unemployment. And that's uniting us as American people. And I feel like Congress is divided in terms of dealing with the tremendous financial burdens that we as United Americans are facing today.
And I understand that. As someone who was a single parent who raised her daughter, I was a police officer. You know, I understand what a lot of Americans are going through. And that's why it's very frustrating to a lot of us here when it becomes so polarized. Because when we came to Congress, we came with your message, the American people's message, not one party or the other, but the American people. And they said, we need to get this debt and deficit under control. We need to get our country working again because Americans want to work. That is what we do. And so that's what we as a freshman class have been working to do. And you have the polarization, and it's something that all of us don't agree with. We believe we're all Americans.
So very quickly, what would you ask them if you could? Any question?
I just think as a middle-class person, when I turn on the television and I read about a proposed bill that Congress wants to propose, and I'm thinking, okay, so Congress is going to pass it, the House is going to pass it, it's going to go to the Senate, it's going to die, and it's like, why? Why are we doing this?
Elizabeth, you're one of the youngest people here. What would you ask them?
You keep saying how you want to come in representing the Americans. However, what are you going to do differently to prevent the divide that always seems to happen when Congress stays in session? I mean,
Scott.
Well, basically, yeah. Are you willing to do what Obama claimed he was going to do in 2008 and unite the country on all the important issues?
Go ahead.
I want to say to that, one of the things I feel like is happening in Congress, and I think it's happening in the executive branch, in Senate and House, is an epic, and somebody said it earlier, lack of leadership. People have to be willing to stand up and say, look, this may not be the best soundbite to get on the news. This may not be the thing that endears me to the right or the left, but this is what we have to do with America. And I'll say this, one of the things I worry about is in 30 years, the American history books are going to say America is a great country that stubborned itself to mediocrity, and that's what I fear.
Well, we're going to come back. I promise I'm going to get all of you in, and you're going to have one last shot on Independence Day to hold them accountable. When we come back, the toughest questions and what America means to our elected officials. Stay tuned.